Hello and welcome to season 3, episode 35 of Quaint and Cozy KC. I am your host, Lainey Renee, and I have been running the streets. I just I like accelerated it this past month. So let's talk about Langston Hughes, and we're going to talk about the Johnson County Museum, the KC Crossroads neighborhood. Just I got a glimpse of that just to let you know, and then my comfort show of the week. I have two comfort shows of the week, and then some future outings, and then websites to watch. Just a few. I just want to do a few of every episode, just because I have a lot of information that I pack in a small amount of a podcast. So starting off with Langston Hughes. Now, when we last spoke, I kind of gave you like a brief overview of the Langston Hughes A Lyrical Life performance, and that was at Mid-Continent Library. And we are so lucky that we have an outreach program with some of our local our local arts organizations. So we are very lucky. So the KC Lyric Opera, they or the Lyric Opera of Kansas City, they put this on, and they kind of went throughout the city. I loved how they did that. My background is music. It's classical music, and I did live in Santa Fe, and I was an intern for the Santa Fe Chamber Music Festival 31 years ago. It's hard to no, actually, you know what? It's 30 years ago, in June. And so, they would do these performances of chamber things. They would kind of go to some of the summer schools. They would kind of go to like the plaza area, and they would just kind of like do this little outreach because it helps them out a lot. And not just that they're getting a new generation interested in opera. I mean, obviously it does help them, I guess, down the road with donations and all that stuff, but it also kind of helps people to kind of like, foster a love, or at least a bit of knowledge about the opera. And so, yeah, I definitely think they succeeded there. Now, I went to the Woodneath branch of this. I was told that just about all the performances were like quote unquote sold out. Now, this was free, but they were all booked up. And they asked me to RSVP, and I'm like, oh, this is getting serious here because they're wanting to know, are you going to be there, girl? And so I was like, yeah, I am. And then they were like, wait. And then they asked me an additional question. Um, and then I was like, oh yeah, I'm still gonna be there. I can't remember what it was, but it was like another qualifying question just to make sure. That's how coveted these seats were. And it was pretty packed. And I would say for a first time opera person, if you're like, this is the first time you're listening to opera, you have to keep in mind, and again, the shows are all over now, but they did it in English. So that's got a little bit of a different rhythm versus if you're going to see a German opera or especially an Italian opera or French opera. Um, it's going to be a little bit different. Now, German is going to, because we're English is a Germanic language, it's probably going to have a little bit, a little bit more similarities, but it's not going to be the same kind of bouncing kind of rhythms and all that stuff that you get when you are listening to, I shouldn't say rhythms, but like, that whole cadence thing that you like, because you want to hear some Italian, you're like, that's opera. Opera comes in all forms. So again, this is like your Aunt Lainey, like lecturing in this, not meaning to, but sometimes I just, it just hits me right there. So I looked around, and a lot of people are enjoying. A few people left because I think they were like kind of confused. I was like, what is this kind of thing? But I really appreciated it. First of all, everybody could sing, and the accompanist was really good. And so they kept it going. So nothing was ever dragging. It was never dragging. And they had like a question and answer session afterwards that I appreciated. And it was a nice, they started a little later to give people a chance to get there. So I appreciated that as well. I mean, sometimes it's like, okay, it's going to start at 6, but when it's a 6 o'clock time, especially, people are trying to get home from traffic. They got to pick people up. There's a lot of stuff going on. So it didn't start until it probably started like maybe 15 minutes, like maybe 15, 20 minutes later than it was supposed to. But I'm glad, because what I don't like is when they start on time and then there's just all these people trying to flood in and sit down, and then they're trying to get situated in the middle of the performance, because I feel like for the performers, that's distracting. And also for the audience members, it's distracting as well. So I totally understood kind of like why they had to delay it a little bit. So it lasted about maybe like an hour or so. Then they did, the question and answer. And they're asking people, they kind of made it this group discussion and kind of got people engaged. And I really did appreciate that about it. And I can't wait till the next time they come out into the community. It was really, I think it was a success. I loved seeing all the people. I loved reading about how this was like the hot library ticket. Now, I love the library, okay? And I'm always like, spouting everything about the library. And I always said, like, I already have 3 degrees, but if I were to get that one last degree, I probably would do it in some kind of like library science, or at the very least, get like a library science certificate, something like that. Just for because I love the library. I love all about the cataloging systems, all that stuff. I'm just like, geeking out about the library. Okay, so something else I geek out about, as you know, are museums. And I was finally able to go back to the Johnson County Museum. Now, I had been there a long time ago. Like I'd gone there this past November for a charity event, but that was kind of like after hours event. But I had gone there like years ago before and looked around. But it had been so long ago. So I was like, you know what? Let's go back. Let's return. And I had a really great time. Now, just to let you know, this museum is in like the Overland Park area, and it's got like a lot of parking. So there's because sometimes the museums parking can be kind of like difficult. So they got free parking, they got a lot, all that stuff. But one of the challenges is this is also kind of like a community center kind of vibe as well. So you're going to see a lot of families there, like a little kids running around. So if you're like, man, I just wanted this cozy kind of experience and I didn't want, I dropped my kids off. So I don't want to be around kids right now. This might not be the place, especially on a Saturday. Maybe that's something you want to do on a weekday, but on a Saturday, what you probably want to do is, if you're okay with that, then proceed, right? If you're, okay with there's going to be kids, running around and all that stuff, then, proceed. So I would say that like this museum is going to take you about, if you're a museum nerd, okay, and you've got some extra time, this museum could be an hour and a half to 2 hours if you let it be an hour and a half to 2 hours, okay? If you're someone that wants to look at every little exhibit and read and talk and do that stuff, you can make this a 2 hour thing, you know? But if you're someone that's like, yo, I just have 45 minutes to an hour, you can also get a quality experience doing that as well because of the way the museum is laid out. And it's really easy to access the exhibits, which is good. Sometimes when you're in museums, I love them, whatever, because of space, they are like trying to make it. So you got to like kind of bob and weave throughout the exhibits because they have a lot of space here. You don't have to do that. So that is good. It's about $6 to get in, but it's definitely well worth it. They also have some kind of, I think they also have like I want to say they have some kind of snack bar restaurant thing. I want to confirm that because I go to so many museums that I want to make sure that I'm not telling you. Yes. So okay, they do have, hang on, county museum. I feel like I'm like looking around just to make sure. Um, I think they have some kind of snack thing going on. And I should have probably confirmed that before I started the podcast, but you know how we roll here. We're like, I'm just like, okay, we go ahead and look this up. I just know that you couldn't like walk through the museum with food, which again, that makes sense. Okay. So maybe I have got this one mixed up with another one, and I do not see where they have like a food situation. But there are plenty of restaurants in the area. There is a museum store, and I love the gifts. Like the gift shop to me is so important. So you're not required to pay admission to shop in their store, which I appreciate too, because sometimes you're just trying to stop in and get something really, really quickly, and then you want to kind of like get out. So there is that right there. Um, yeah, they have a beautiful museum in there. It's very easy to kind of get stuff in there. And yeah, they also do birthday parties. So that might be fun. Like thinking to myself, like that might be fun because so the Johnson County Museum, it's located in the Johnson County Arts and Heritage Center. So yeah, it's like, oh wow, they've got birthday parties. Okay. That's that's kind of cool. It looks like you can have some yes. So looks like you have some birthday parties, have some events there. That could be a lot of fun. But yeah, I don't think they allow food in there. I mean, well, they allow food for the birthday parties, but you can't just be like walking around and, the museum with food. And I totally understand that because someone could slip and fall because you're going there. You start off in the museum, like you have like the lobby area, whatever. You can kind of like look around. There's art in that lobby area, okay? But when you start to go downstairs into the actual like, museum, you are walking around, it's like cement floors. So there's that. I really enjoyed. There's an exhibit of a quinceanera dress. It was gorgeous. I have posted it on my Quaint and Cozy KC TikTok, and then soon to be on my YouTube. As you know, I put everything on TikTok first, and then I kind of migrated over to YouTube and then Instagram and then Facebook from there. But yes, beautiful. Now there was a place I wanted to go to. There is a Lanesfield historic site. And on the day that I went, and it's like a school thing. Um, on the day that I went, I was in a hurry to kind of go through, and it was kind of windy that day. So I will be honest with you, I did not get a chance to like do that tour. It looks like you have to I think you have to book um ahead of time, and it looks like there are events as well that you can go and to and so look, there's a Lanesfield School Fall open house, and then you get to kind of go through experience life as a student in a one-room schoolhouse. And so yeah, and it looks like it is they're going to have outdoor games and lessons and costume teachers, and it's free, open from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So, and it looks like they also have a Christmas concert there as well. They'll have that this December. So it looks like it's popping over there. It's popping and locking, as they say. So I'm going to kind of like move away from the Johnson County Museum, but please check it out. They have just different parts of time. They've got the electric kind of electric city thing. They've got this really beautiful old classic car. Looks like it's from the 1950s. It's just, I really loved the vibe. Then they had things from Pioneer Days in there, and then they had there's a special exhibit uh, about America's documentation, which I really kind of like Bill of Rights stuff, constitutional stuff. I really like that. I really like that. I kind of get geeked out about that. Okay, now I'm gonna leave the museum for real this time. Next, I think it was on the same day. I went to hang out with friends. We went to Farina KC, and I'll talk about that in my Aunt Lainey's kitchen. I finally have that review completed. But beforehand, I was waiting around. I always get to the Crossroads early. Like my reservation there, I think I had to meet them at like 6:30, and y'all, I got there by 5:15, okay? Because that parking situation can get real crazy real quick. So I was already parked and ready to go. So I just walked around and I took pictures and videos, just explored it. And again, it's a glimpse of the Crossroads. I didn't do like a deep dive that day because it was on the warmer side, and I didn't want to be walking around like sweating in my Saturday night dinner dress. I was like, oh, I can't be sweating now. So I went and I had another event to go to after that. So I was like, yeah, I don't want to be out here sweating when I'm going to go dancing. I'll be dancing for like an hour or so. That will not work for me. But what I love about the Crossroads neighborhood, the architecture, um, how it just feels like you're like in this walking, like you're in this walkable neighborhood, and there's restaurants and other businesses around, and the people are kind of flowing in, flowing out. It's just a nice kind of place to be. I loved seeing like all the people, walking around and enjoying the city. It gives you like that, and it's not very far away from downtown. So it's like you're in this walkable neighborhood, and you're not very far away from, super far away from downtown. So yeah, I really enjoy those kind of like those neighborhoods. Are super cozy to me. So that's a great neighborhood to kind of check out. And remember, keep in mind the parking situation. There's a lot of cool things to do down there. There's that arcade, the up down, and it's got, it's like this. When I first went to Uptown years ago, it felt like this, okay, this is like an old school, like, arcade thing. It's cool enough, whatever. But now they have changed the experience, okay? Like now I'm like, okay, I see what you're trying to do here. So it's got a whole different kind of vibe in there as well. Definitely like, when I went there, I've gone there on dates and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, that's a credible date. Like usually, like me going there on dates, I've been dating the person for a while. It's like, oh, hey, let's just go over there for like a nice Sunday date. But this, I'm like, okay, this is like a legit, this could be a date, like a date night place. If you just wanted like a casual, kind of fun, upbeat, active kind of date, yes, I definitely would take this seriously. Okay, now I'm leaving the Crossroads neighborhood, getting in my car because I got that good parking, so I can just like kind of pull out into the street. Now I'm going to talk to you about Whitsable Pearl. This is my comfort show, one of the comfort shows. Now, it's got like three seasons. Season one is on PBS, okay? And I think I'm trying to see where the other seasons are. I think the other seasons are on Acorn, and that is, you got to pay for that. That's got like a month. That's a monthly streamer, but it is on PBS for free. Season one. It's also you can also find it on YouTube with their subscription and Roku with a subscription, Amazon Prime with a subscription. So yeah, you got that. You got kind of got that down. I do appreciate PBS. They do, but the only thing is like when they only have the one season or the two seasons, and then you look and see that it has five seasons. You're like, why are you doing this to me? Now, the first thing I did when I saw that PBS had it for free season one. I went on to Hoopla to see if they had any episodes I could check out, and they don't. It's not on Hoopla, but that's always like anytime you see like a cool show, especially a British or foreign show, always check on Hoopla or whatever library app you use if they've got TV or something like that. Always check on there because they might have a few episodes or a whole other season, if you don't want to have to pay for it, So just because, times are different for a lot of people. So the things that I suggest, I try to keep in mind that not everybody has that subscription or not everybody wants to buy that subscription. So again, that's kind of where I go. Now, speaking of a subscription, sadly, the other Bennet sister, it's going to be on BritBox next month, but it's not going to be on PBS. For some reason, I was hoping that it would be on PBS. It's like a 10-part, um, it's like a 10-part limited series. And so it's not, I'm like so sad it's not on PBS, but I think eventually it's probably going to make its way to PBS, but it probably won't be until, maybe the end of the year or next year or something like that. But it's going to be on BritBox next month for the people in the US. But I've been watching the clips on TikTok and it's based on a book. Um, but I think what I was reading is that the book is not the same as, again, they have to do things when they're filming, but it's called The Other Bennett Sister, and it is by, um, hang on, I just want to make sure I get the author's name right, Janice Hadlow. And so it's kind of like Mary Bennet, she's the middle sister from, the Pride and Prejudice. She's kind of and she's, kind of her own person. And she's like a little plainer than her sisters. And so she's kind of like the odd person out, but she goes and has some adventures. And so, yeah, I mean, you can find this, I think, if you want to buy it on Amazon or some other book seller, you can also probably find it at your local library. They probably have the ebook and the hardback and they probably have an audiobook as well. So again, raise the roof for the libraries as always. And then I want to end this episode just with some websites to watch, okay? Um, One of the websites to watch is what I talked about, the Langston Hughes KCOpera.org. Okay. They're making big moves here. If you're into opera, even if you're not just like following them, they have you can join their email subscription kind of thing. I know you're like, girl, I just can't have another. Well, I suggest this. If you've got email subscriptions from 2014 and you don't even like, you're not even friends with those people like that in the sense of like, you don't go to any of their stuff, like you're never going to go back. Just go through and just unsubscribe from all, like just take maybe 2 hours and find like 10 things you can unsubscribe from. And then, subscribe to a couple of, local event things. So that way you're in the know. So I've got kcopera.org, so a website to watch. Also, Rooftop Cinema Club. I'm really intrigued with them. I really want to like I really want to go to one of their events. It just keeps like they keep conflicting with what I already have going on. But yes, rooftopcinemaclub.com. Check them out. It looks like a lot of fun. I mean, people have really good reviews for them. So it's the Crossroads, Kansas City. And again, like I said, you got to arrive early and so you can get that parking. And yeah, just and it's so it looks like the entrance is on 21st Street between Northwestern Avenue and Broadway Boulevard. And so they open the doors at 5 p.m. every day. So they've got like all kinds of they kind of let you know. And they've got looks like they've got a military discount and they've got food and drink. I don't know how much everything costs. And they've got some policies. And it looks like things are cashless. Okay. So have your debit or credit card. That's important. I know some people do Apple Pay and whatever, but not everybody takes that stuff. So, the Venmos and the Cash Apps, just, always have, your credit card, debit card, whatever, ready to go. Okay. And then also, the GOAT, eventbrite.com. They have so many things, and you just want to make sure you've got the Kansas City. If you whatever city you're in, go, plug that in, and that will they've got so many events that I don't see on all the time, like on social media. So I'm like, because they give you those events early. So that's kind of an important thing. And in my Aunt Lanie's Kitchen, I'll go more into detail about some of the food festivals that are coming. But yeah, Eventbrite is a great place to, find out what's going on, and you kind of have a heads up to what's going on, so you can plan accordingly. Then they also have a section of free events. So yeah, I appreciate that as well. Like, because we're all in different kinds of price points and all that stuff. So they actually do have a whole section on free events this weekend. So we appreciate that. I'm going to actually make a note of that. But then they also have things where, you will have to pay for. So, everybody's different. So, check it out. Make sure to read the fine print on everything. Make sure that you have the dates correct. I know sometimes on of it because you're going so fast, you're like, oh, that's on the 31st, and it's actually on the 30th. Like, so really, because I don't know what their refund policies are like. So it's just something to keep in mind. But look like they've got some serious events on here. Um, and they don't look like a lot of the events are $40 and under. Now, there are some things that are a little bit more than that. They also have online events, but those are like, let's see, so they have online events as well if you want to do that. But yes, I love this so much because, it gives everyone options and it keeps life interesting. Okay, on that note, you can find me at quaintandcozykc.com. I'm also on, the Tickety Tockety, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, as well on Quaint and Cozy KC. So yes, please thank you guys so much for your support. Like I'm seeing things, I'm seeing my YouTube shorts. You guys are really watching them and you're coming back according to the analytics. Um, Also with TikTok as well, because that's my most favorite. Like I've got the more followers on TikTok for Quaint and Cozy KC than I have anywhere else. So that's why I always post things there first. But yes, like you guys have been really, really supportive, and I'm so excited for, the rest of spring to come because there's so many cool events that I want to check out, that I want to talk about with you, that I want to, you know, like connect with you over because, the Quaint and Cozy KC life, I didn't choose it. It chose me, y'all. Okay. On that note, take care, and I will talk to you soon.